hijacked cargo ship, 35 armed pirates, and 17 terrified hostages in the middle of the Indian Ocean. When the pirates fired on the wrong warship, the Indian Navy answered with 40 hours of relentless pursuit, precision fire, and as special forces drop straight into enemy waters. This is how India ends piracy at sea. A hijacked cargo ship drifts in the vast emptiness of the Indian Ocean, the MV Ruin. On board, 35 pirates with rifles, RPGs, and nothing to lose. In the crew quarters, 17 sailors huddle in fear, knowing that help is days, maybe weeks away. But somewhere beyond the horizon, a 7,400-ton destroyer cuts through the waves at over 30 knots. This is INS Kolkata, flagship of India's Western Naval Command. Its radar has just locked onto the ruin's profile, and the call has gone out. This will be no slow negotiation. When the pirates spot the incoming warship, they make a fatal mistake. A streak of smoke arcs from their deck, an RPG aimed straight at the Indian Navy. The round misses, splashing into the sea, but the act seals their fate. Captain Sinanwal doesn't hesitate. Orders snap through the combat room. The 76mm gun powers up. Target data flashes across the ELM M2248 radar display. Then, boom, a single precision shell slams into the ruin's steering system, crippling its ability to maneuver without touching the superstructure. In that instant, the pirates lose control of their prize, and the clock starts ticking on a rescue operation that will bring India's most elite warriors straight into the heart of danger. The hit on the ruin's steering system changes everything, but it doesn't end the fight. The crippled ship can still drift, and the pirates still have the hostages. Every hour that passes increases the risk of them killing crew members or calling for reinforcements from the Somali coast. From the Kolkata's bridge, Captain Sinanwal initiates the next phase, containment. The destroyer holds a tight combat position just beyond RPG range, sensors locked onto the target, every movement of the pirates tracked in real time. For the next 40 hours, the operation becomes a test of endurance. The Indian Navy's P-8DI Poseidon aircraft circles high above, its APY-10D radar painting a perfect image of the hijacked vessel. The Sea Guardian drones relay live video to the Fleet Operations Center in Mumbai. Even 2,000 kilometers from shore, the Kolkata is never alone. It's part of an invisible network that covers millions of square kilometers. Below deck, the Marcos team prepares. 8 commandos, each a product of 2.5 years of grueling selection and training, check and recheck their weapons. Tavor assault rifles, Sig Sauer pistols, stun grenades, breaching charges. They know their insertion point, their timing, and their target. On the horizon, the weather turns.
Wind picks up, the sea swells, and somewhere in the pirates' minds, the first seeds of doubt begin to take root. But there's no time to wait. A C-17 Globemaster is already in the air, bringing India's deadliest soldiers to the fight. At 40,000 feet, the roar inside the C-17 Globemaster is deafening. 8 black-clad silhouettes sit in silence, their gear strapped tight, their eyes hidden behind night vision goggles. Between them rest 2 combat rubber raiding craft, lightweight, high-speed assault boats rigged for parachute deployment. The Marcos commander glances at his altimeter. Wind speed 15 knots from the northeast. Water temperature 28 degrees Celsius. Conditions perfect. No one speaks. The language here is hand signals. Raised index finger, closed fist, thumbs down, go time. The cargo door yawns open, revealing nothing but sky and the endless shimmer of the Indian Ocean far below. The signal comes, and one by one they step into the void. Chutes snap open, filling with wind. The boats follow, suspended beneath their own parachutes like dark shadows falling toward the waves. Impact is violent, water hitting like concrete. In seconds, the commandos cut free, hauling the boats upright and firing up the Mercury outboard engines. 40 horsepower roars to life. Weapons are checked. Stun grenades dangle from tactical vests like lethal ornaments. 500 meters from the ruin, the Marcos throttle down. Helmets barely break the surface as they close in from port and starboard, using the swell to stay invisible. Above them, a P-8I Poseidon keeps watch, its sensors tracking every heat signature on the pirate ship's deck. The pirates don't see them coming. Not yet, but they will. And when they do, it will already be too late. From high above, the P8I's thermal imaging shows the scene like a chessboard. Every heat signature on the ruin's deck is a piece in motion, some pacing near the bow, others clustered at the stern. The pirates are restless, firing sporadic shots into the air as if to remind themselves they're still in control. They aren't. To the west, the 2,500-ton patrol vessel INS Subhadra advances, her silhouette low and menacing against the horizon. To the east, the Kolkata holds her position, guns trained and ready. Above, a Sea Guardian drone loiters at 20,000 feet, relaying live video to every Indian warship in range. The ruin is now inside an invisible cage. No escape by sea, no rescue from the air. The Marcos boats close the last 100 meters, throttles low to avoid wake. Black helmets glide toward the hull, timing their approach with the swells. Each man's breathing is slow, measured. The water slaps against fiberglass, almost loud enough to betray them, but the pirates are distracted. Suddenly, a flare streaks upward from the ruin. It bursts, showering light over the water. The pirates are signaling for help, but there's no one left in these waters to answer. Operation Sunkalp has swept the Indian Ocean clean. On the Kolkata, Captain Sinanwal leans toward the comms. His voice is calm, clipped. Teams in position. Stand by for breach. What happens next will decide whether this ends with gunfire or surrender.
A crackle cuts through the Kolkata's comms network. The Marcos commander whispers from the waterline. They're in position, starboard and port, grappling hooks ready. Above, the Poseidon's radar locks on to a fast-moving object, an RPG launcher being shouldered near the ruin's bridge. The pirates aren't giving up quietly. Sinanwal makes the call. The Kolkata's OTO Malara 76mm swings toward the bridge and fires, not to destroy, but to shock. The shell slams into the deck just forward of the launcher, a thunderclap of steel and spray. Shrapnel showers the area. The RPG clatters to the floor. In the chaos, loudspeakers roar from the destroyer. This is the Indian Navy. You are surrounded. Lay down your arms or be destroyed. Silence follows. A tense, heavy silence, broken only by the hum of the Kolkata's engines and the slap of waves. The pirates glance over the railings and see black figures rising from the sea. Marcos helmets, weapons up, no more than 20 meters away. On the Subhadra, boarding teams stand by, rifles slung, waiting for the signal. The drone above watches every movement, ready to beam targeting coordinates if a shot is fired. One pirate edges toward a weapon. The Marcos nearest him shakes his head slowly, finger resting on the trigger. The message is clear. One wrong move, and this deck becomes a killing ground. The tension is knife-edge sharp. The next 60 seconds will decide whether the order is breach or ceasefire. The order comes not as a shout, but as a single word over comms: breach. From both flanks, grappling hooks fly. Lines go taut. In seconds, 8 Marcos are scaling the ruin's hull, boots slamming against steel, rifles slung across their chests. The first man over the rail swings his weapon toward the nearest pirate, a silent, practiced arc, while the second drops a stun grenade behind a crate stack. Flash, bang. A white-hot burst and a concussion wave roll across the deck. The pirates stumble, clutching their ears, rifles clattering onto the planks. From the bridge, the leader's voice cracks over the noise, barking orders in panic. But he's cut off as a Marcos operator drives him to the deck, zip ties already in hand. Another team sweeps through the aft section, clearing compartments with short, controlled bursts from their tavers. Warning fire, precise and intentional. On the Kolkata, the ops room watches the helmet cam feeds. Every corner cleared is a green light on the tactical display. Every secured pirate is another red icon turning neutral. Within minutes, resistance collapses. Weapons are thrown overboard, hands raised high. The remaining pirates are herded to the center of the deck, knees on steel, eyes darting between the commandos and the towering silhouette of the destroyer just meters away. But the operation isn't over.
Below deck could still hide explosives, traps, or desperate men with nothing left to lose. The Marcos vanish into the hatchways, their movements swallowed by the shadows inside the Rouen. The air changes the moment the hatch closes. It's heavier, stale with engine oil, sweat, and the faint metallic tang of seawater. Flashlights cut through the dark, sweeping over pipes and steel bulkheads. The narrow corridor amplifies every sound, the creak of boots, the click of safeties flicked off. The Marcos advance in 2 columns, one forward toward the engine room, the other aft toward the crew quarters. Each step is deliberate, muzzles tracking every shadow. The hum of the crippled steering system vibrates through the floor plates. Somewhere deeper inside, a door slams. The forward team halts. Hand signals flash. 2 fingers, point right. Contact. A pirate bursts from a side compartment, machete in hand. He makes it 2 steps before a Tavara buttstock slams into his ribs, sending him sprawling to the deck. No gunfire, no wasted motion. He's restrained and dragged clear. In the crew quarters, the second team finds the hostages. 17 pairs of eyes widen in disbelief as black-clad figures step into the room. Whispered reassurances, quick checks for injuries, all clear. One by one, they're escorted out, heads low, toward the sunlight above. The last search is the most dangerous, the engine room. Heat presses in like a wall, machinery hissing and groaning. 2 pirates crouch behind a generator, weapons trembling in their hands. They don't fire. A single command, drop it, and the rifles hit the deck. Zip ties cinch shut, and the final resistance is over. Over comms, the Marcos commander gives the words everyone's been waiting for. Deck secure, hostages safe, target neutralized. But topside, Captain Sinenwall knows this fight extends far beyond the Rouen. With the Rouen secure and the hostages aboard the Kolkata for medical checks, the Marcos turn from combat to intelligence. Every room is swept not just for threats, but for information, the kind that dismantles entire networks. On the bridge, they find it. A folding table covered with waterproof maps, marked with shipping lanes across the Indian Ocean. Satellite phone handsets still warm from use. A rugged laptop with maritime tracking software open. The cursor frozen over a slow-moving tanker hundreds of nautical miles away. Below deck, a cache is uncovered. Assault rifles stacked in crates, RPG launchers with spare rounds, and boxes of grenades. It's an arsenal designed not for one hijacking, but for a sustained campaign. The pirates weren't just opportunists. They were running a mobile base of operations. Data cards are pulled from radios, hard drives bagged, documents photographed before being sealed. Everything is cataloged and moved to the Kolkata for analysis. Naval intelligence will trace these tools back to the financiers, warlords, and fixers who think they can hide behind the chaos of the Somali coast. Overhead, a Sea Guardian drone continues its lazy circle, scanning the horizon for any vessel daring to come within range. But the ocean is empty. Operation Sankalp has closed the gates. For the pirates kneeling on the Rouen's deck, the silence is louder than the gunfire. They know there is no ransom coming, no reinforcements on the way, only an Indian warship with cells below deck and a course set for Mumbai. But as the Kolkata turns for home, a new contact pings the ops room's radar. This mission may not be over yet. The radar screen in the Kolkata's Combat Information Center flickers with a new contact, small, fast, and closing from the southeast. The Sea Guardian drone pivots instantly, its high-resolution camera zooming in. The image confirms it. A skiff, low in the water, its bow bouncing over the waves, 4 men on board, armed, moving hard toward the Rouen. It's either a rescue attempt or a last-ditch retaliation. Captain Sinenwall wastes no time. The Subhadra alters course to intercept, her twin diesels rumbling as speed climbs. On the drone feed, the skiff changes direction, not fleeing, but angling to shadow the Kolkata from a distance. The captain understands the tactic. If they can't reclaim the Rouen,
They might try to tail the Indian ships until nightfall, then strike when visibility drops. It's a gamble the Navy won't allow. The order is given: intercept and board. Within minutes, a rigid hull inflatable tears across the surface from the Subhadra, its bow lifting clear with every wave. Naval boarding teams crouch inside, weapons trained on the horizon. The skiff's crew sees them coming. One man stands, raising his rifle, and that's all it takes. A warning burst from the Subhadra's deck guns splashes high and wide, the concussion alone enough to knock him back into his seat. The skiff slows, then drifts. The boarding team is on them in seconds. Weapons are tossed overboard. 4 more pirates are taken into custody, their eyes darting toward the Rouen in silent recognition that their operation has collapsed completely. But in Mumbai, analysts studying the sea's maps already suspect these men are part of something bigger, a network still out there, watching, waiting for its next chance.